104.7 The Cave, Stevie Nicks and Tom Petty. Stop dragging my heart around. I'm Mike the intern. I've got Nick Mason with me this morning now talking about The Endless River, Pink Floyd's first studio album in more than 20 years. Cannot wait for this thing to come out tomorrow. And how did the album come together?
The project came together from the recording of an album 20 years ago, The Division Bell. When we originally worked on this album, we intended to do a double album. And half of it was going to be songs and half was going to be sort of ambient music, which at the time was the new coming thing. What happened was we got waylaid, really. We were making progress with the main album, but we had a tour coming up, running out of time, running out of steam, and ended up shelving the ambient sections.
Now, how did you move the project forward from those original sessions?
This got shelved and possibly would have remained so, but for one of our engineers, Andy Jackson, who'd worked with us for a number of years, always felt that there was gold dust there somewhere in all of that, and asked to have a go at maybe assembling something. So that was the sort of starting point, and it's actually been a 20-year journey of it gradually being distilled and getting rid of the things that didn't work and keeping the things that did, and then reworking some of those.
We'll get to more with Nick Mason from Pink Floyd on the way next on 104.7 The Cave. 104.7 The Cave. I'm Mike the intern, still in the studio with Nick Mason from Pink Floyd talking about The Endless River. Now, what happened after you and Gilmore decided it was a good idea to kind of make these sessions a record?
We ended up asking Phil Manzanera to come in and have a listen, and he took a fresh look at it all and distilled it further. So eventually we ended up with the beginnings of a record. And this, I'm talking relatively recently now. By the time we'd been through all of this process, this was only 3 or 4 years ago.
It's a deep cut from Bad Company, Run with the Pack on 104.7 The Cave. 104.7 The Cave, Running with the Devil from Van Halen. I'm Mike the intern in the studio with Nick Mason from Pink Floyd. Now, how did you feel about getting the chance to hone the tracks on The Endless River?
I absolutely loved it because, of course, it was this thing of going back in and listening to tracks that we recorded together. It's very unusual to have the opportunity to go back and redo something before it's released. I tend to be quite critical of listening to any of our old records, thinking, I wouldn't have done it like that if I could do it now. So actually to revisit something that was done 20 years ago and go, well, that's okay, or I could improve on that, or actually I'll just polish that bit up. It was great. Any drummer would love that opportunity, I think.
Thank you so much, Nick, for your time this morning. We've got a 6-pack of Pure Classic Rock. It's on the way next on 104.7 The Cave.